I'm Sean Adams.
I'm Tony Gaglione.
And this is Smacktalk.
100th episode.
100th episode.
Gonna do a little celebrating tonight afterwards. Go check out the Las Vegas Sims practice. Maybe do a shot or two.
I gotta play this. I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
I gotta play this. We haven't done stuff like this in a while, so I heard this and I just had to let it go.
Yeah. I don't know.
What is this crap? Oh, I got
it. The Marshawn Lynch remix. If you haven't checked it out, check out the Marshawn Lynch one word interview, no juice remix. It's a pretty cool song in itself, and it's just funny. For those of you who didn't know, the Super Bowl happened. Yeah, we went through that. We did a live show. That was nice. Got to watch the worst game ever. Worst ending to a game ever.
Yeah, Pete Carroll, die in hell, buddy. Come on, you got the best running back in the league, and you throw the ball on sort of the second down. It doesn't matter. You still had a timeout, man.
But memes have flooded the internet, and some of them are good. They've kind of died down since then, but there was one I seen the other day on the Chive that it had I think it was a Ferrari with the Seahawks symbol, and the guy, it's a GIF, and the guy's like, yeah, but does it run?
That's funny.
That's pretty good. All right, so MLB, not much to report other than the fact that opening day is around the corner. Pitchers and catchers have reported. We will be getting ready for our season preview show.
For some reason, the Cubs think they have hope. It's not happening.
So do the White Sox, so do the Twins.
Neither. None of them.
None of them have hope.
I don't care who you are. All right, soccer, Champions League.
Oh, today was a bad day.
Today was a bad day for Sean. His team went down to Monaco 3-1.
We didn't go down to Monaco. We were at home against a team we're supposed to beat, and they put three away goals. Bad counterattacking, bad defending,
bad everything. I watched it. It was bad. Not to mention you have David Ospina in goal.
Yeah, David Ospina in goal. Should have been Chesney. That's about the only time I'll say this. He hasn't got to play Champions League games, but he did good through the group stages.
Yeah, Barca was up 2-0 on Man City. That would have been huge, but Aguero was able to put one home late.
That keeps that tie close. You know, Arsenal's not out of their tie either. They lost a 3-1 to Munich at home and went to Germany and won.
Yeah, the second leg is a whole different.
Yeah, second leg, it's a month out, before your second leg goes. So those games, I think, Man City's still in their game. Bayer Leverkusen, however, did beat Atletico Madrid. Thiago got a red card in the game today. That's big for the German teams because...
That's awesome because they were 275 in the money line and I bet them.
Yeah. Juventus beat Dortmund 2-1. Dortmund, don't be surprised if this is the last appearance they make in Champions League for a while. They're not doing too well in the league. They have won a few games. They've moved up the table, but they're not going to qualify for Champions League. Madrid beat Schalke. No surprise there. They didn't thrash them like they did last year. Same matchup, but Shakhtar Donetsk.
Yeah, that was a surprise for me. Drawn against Bayern at home.
They parked the bus.
Well, it's a 0-0 draw, isn't it?
0-0 draw at home.
Basically, what they're saying is, all right, it's 0-0, and now we're going to try to pull one out of our asses. And
yeah, all they got to do is get one goal in Munich, and they've got the away goal tiebreaker.
Yeah, they're up 2, basically.
Yeah, exactly. So. That's what they're going for. Chelsea and PSG drew. No surprise there. Actually, PSG played a lot better than Chelsea did in that game.
I thought so.
Probably should have won the game. They were down behind early to Ivanovic's header, but they came back and tied it. The next game will be played in Chelsea.
Okay.
So that'll be hard to play in Stamford Bridge for PSG. The same tie last year, and they went out on away goals. So Chelsea again has an away goal. Basel and Porto drew. That's pretty much it for the Champions League action.
Yeah, English Premier League, Chelsea's still at the top of the table with 60 points. Man City's behind them. I guess it's possible to catch them.
Chelsea's dropping points. I told you this.
They're 55. It's close.
Arsenal!
I can't read you a little mini
Arsenal is ahead of Manchester United.
By 1 point.
By 1 point, and we play each other the 14th of March in the FA Cup.
That should be fun.
3 days before we got to go to Monaco and play in the Champions League.
Southampton's dropping off the table. They screwed up against Liverpool, lost 2-0. Yeah. Liverpool's moving up. They're at 45. Southampton's at 46. Tottenham's actually moving up, surprisingly. Harry Kane on the shoulders of him. Yeah. They're at 44 points and 7.
Draws due to Harry Kane.
Hey, man. Yeah, basically. And Hugo Lloris isn't the goalie everybody thought he was going to be when he came into the EPL. So.
I wrote this down only because one reason. Okay, and I'll get in the reason. I'll read the thing, and then I'll put my reason for there.
Okay.
La Liga table. Madrid's got 60 points. Barca's got 56. They just lost at home to Malaga 1-0.
Yeah.
Right? Atletico Madrid's at 53. Valencia's at 50. Sevilla's at 45. Sevilla won Europa League last year. And Villarreal's at 44. Giovanni Dos Santos playing striker for Villarreal. The only reason I wrote this down is because this is the first time in 6 years that La Liga's top 6 don't have a gap of more than 25 points.
That's insane.
16 points between first to sixth. Whereas normally it's first, second, third are close or somewhat close, and then everyone else is...
Let me give you the answer to that. Madrid, Barca, and Atletico are all getting old.
Yeah, I think that you look at like Real Sociedad hiring Moyes. I think these other teams, they've got the budgets.
Now they do, sure, yeah.
They're finally spending money. I mean, Sevilla's going to be up there for a while. Their team is young. They're good. Valencia as well.
Sevilla won Euro last year, right?
Yeah, Valencia just sold a defender to Arsenal, made money, and they're going to go out in the summer and they'll be able to sign some quality guys. They won't get the top guys, but they'll get guys that play soccer.
What's happening in La Liga is what you see in the EPL. A team comes up from a minor division, they stay up for 5 to 10 years, and now they've got some money to spend, and they're spending money, and it's becoming a little more parodic, I guess. Yeah. More parity in the league, and it's good for the league. Nobody wants to see the same damn 3 teams win all the time, unless you're a Madrid, Barca, Atletico fan.
Yeah.
But not that Atletico's won lately.
Won it last year.
Okay, lately though. I mean, go 20 years before that.
Oh yeah, no, exactly. It's all Barca and Real Madrid.
Yeah.
And that's the thing, and it's good to see La Liga do it. Same thing with Germany. You know, you got VL Wolfsburg up there. They've been up for a while. Now they're in second place.
Mm-hmm.
Teams like Augsburg, who's just promoted last year, they're up in fourth. Leverkusen and Mondenblock are back to where they would be, hovering around right at the top.
Yeah. Doing it with young players. Wolfsburg got frickin' De Bruyne and Bentner. Yeah. I think De Bruyne is the best player on that team.
Probably.
But either way, doing it with young players that are coming up and they're building around the young players, and I want to say something about the De Bruyne
thing. That's another Chelsea player that realizes, like, hey, I didn't come here to sit on the bench.
No, and you know what? 90% of the Chelsea players that are on the bench can start 75% somewhere else in the world.
And see, the thing, and I said this, okay, going back to Chelsea. I said this at the beginning of the year when they were doing well, and we did a show. I told you that they would die off around January, February, March when the schedule got tough. The reason why is if you look at Jose Mourinho's squads, no matter who he coached, Inter Milan, Real Madrid, Chelsea, it doesn't matter. He trims a squad. He doesn't like having a big roster like Arsene Wenger or Van Gaal and Ferguson, where you can select different teams. He likes to have set lineups and set rotations. Well, the problem with that is when you're in 4 competitions,
yeah, you get tired.
Your players are going to get tired. Even
Without
if
a doubt.
Coming in are tired.
Without a doubt. Let's move on to the NHL real quick. My boy Patrick Kane is out 6 to 10 weeks. Just had surgery today with a fracture in his shoulder, I believe. They call it an upper body injury because they don't want no one to know what the hell is going on.
Yeah.
But he'll be back for the playoffs. The Hawks are still going to make it to the playoffs. I'm not too worried about them. However, Ryan Miller is out 4 to 6 weeks for Vancouver.
I don't know why I wrote that. That was last year.
Vancouver is out 4 to 6 weeks. That's huge. Even though Eddie Lack, the backup goalie, was relatively decent, he's not Ryan Miller.
He's not Ryan Miller. No.
So, I mean, Vancouver's already struggling a little bit. We'll see if they drop some points.
Yeah, obviously you can do the West.
Go ahead.
East, first place is Montreal Canadiens. They got 83 points. Right on their heels is New York Islanders. Nick Leddy, 82 points.
Just signed a 7-year contract extension.
Fat money. Oh, well, I mean, it's fat.
It's fat money for me and you, man.
Yeah. Tampa Bay Lightning and New York Rangers are both tied at 80 points for 3rd and 4th. Detroit and Pittsburgh are tied at 5th and 6th for 77 points. Washington Capitals is 76 points. And then in the 8th spot of the wild card, you've got Boston at 67, Florida at 65, and Philadelphia at 63.
I want to say something. If you go back to our NHL preview show, same words out of my mouth were, the Florida Panthers are going to make the playoffs this year.
Yeah, and you know what? Boston has had so many injuries. They have no cohesiveness.
David Krejci is out 6 weeks. That's their best player.
They lose to games they shouldn't lose.
No, and then they win games.
The other night they went to Colorado. They should handily beat the Avalanche. They lost like 5-1.
Then they come into Chicago and destroy them. They put up 6 goals on Corey Crawford. It's insane. Florida, on the other hand, is all Roberto Luongo.
Yeah.
And Nick Bjugstad, whatever you want to call him, man. He's still an American. Good for him.
Yeah.
It's all on Florida. Basically, Dale Talon used to be the GM of the Chicago Blackhawks. He went over to Florida, and now he's picking looking at the old Blackhawks. They got Thomas Kopetsky, Jack Skilly, frickin' everybody that used to be on the Hawks in the 2010 run is on Florida now. So they are a solid squad.
Yeah,
Philadelphia, Ray Emery, he's iffy. I don't think they're going to make it.
They got Claude Giroux.
Yeah, he's decent. In the West, he is their whole team. In the West, you got Nashville in first place, which is a huge shock. Anaheim in second at 83, St. Louis in third. St. Louis is tough, man. St. Louis is going to be really tough to beat in the playoffs. Chicago's in fourth, 77. Without Patrick Kane, they had to bring up Tuivu Teravainen. I love saying that name. The Winnipeg Jets just traded for Uri Tuilusti, so they're going to be pretty good. They got Andrew Ladd, Evander Kane. They shipped off to Buffalo along with Zach Bogosian last week.
They still got big Dustin Byfuglien.
Oh, yeah, they still got Byfuglien. Vancouver Canucks might drop off without Ryan Miller. They're at 73 points. The LA Kings have won like 6 or 7 games in a row, which really sucks for me because I hate the LA Kings. Yeah. They're at 70 points. Wild card is Minnesota, Calgary, and San Jose. Minnesota's at 69, Calgary, San Jose at 68.
I want to say Calgary. I want
Calgary, but I'm going to say Minnesota makes it.
I have to agree with you on that. You got Parise, Palmdale,
Ryan Suter, and listen to this crap. Devin Dubnyk, a goalie who was the worst friggin' thing I've ever seen in Edmonton, goes to Minnesota and he's won like 8 out of his last 11 games.
Further proof that my Oilers have no defense.
Yes. I know. You look at Ben Scrivens and Victor Fost for LA and Anaheim last year. They go over to Edmonton and they're giving up 6 goals a game.
Because there's nobody in front of them. They make bad mistakes.
That's on coaching, man. Yeah. That is all on coaching. Let's get out of the NHL.
I could coach the Oilers.
Hey, who you got in the Stanley Cup?
Right now, Stanley Cup, I'm going to have to go with the Islanders and the Predators.
Islanders and the Predators. I'm going to go with an ass tattoo Stanley Cup if you don't know about this. New York Rangers, Eric Danner's team versus my Chicago Blackhawks. Loser gets an ass tattoo of the other team's logo.
We have a similar bet with the football with the Steelers and Bears. Yes. But it's never going to happen because the Bears suck.
Well, that's true. And the Steelers.
Okay, NBA. Okay, we're winding down this season, right? I think we've had 50-something games played, 56 games or 55 games. We've only got 17 to go. Then the playoffs will start. You got in the East, Atlanta's still tearing it up, right? Atlanta had that 16-game win streak or 17-game win streak. Toronto still holding it down. DeMar DeRozan, whatever. It's a hard-ass name to pronounce. Chicago sitting there, but Derrick Rose just got surgery on his torn meniscus in his knee. Can you hold this?
Chicago's playoff hopes
popped. Yeah, I could have told Tony that. I think I have said that Derrick Rose is a chump. He's got injury problems, and he's not.
I wouldn't call him a chump.
He's a chump.
However, without Rose, they don't have any chance of beating the Cleveland Cavaliers. That's for sure, or the Toronto Raptors. I'm calling the Atlanta Hawks in the NBA Finals.
I would like
they are playing awesome.
You still got the Wizards with John Wall actually doing. They actually have a team now, right? So
playoff added Paul Pierce, even though he's out tonight.
Yeah. Milwaukee, they're sitting in the 6th seed. They just traded Brandon Knight away for Michael Carter-Williams of Philadelphia.
Yeah, the kid's good, man.
Yeah, MCW is pretty good. Miami sitting in 7th place. They'll probably move up. They might creep into the 6th spot. They just traded for Dragic.
Yeah, smartest trade they've made. Both of the Dragic brothers go there. Not that his brother's any good, but Goran is amazing, shooting lights out.
Brooklyn's sitting there in the wild card spot because it's the NBA and you'll have a sub 500 team or a 500 team there.
Brooklyn is in the number 8 spot in the East, but you have 4 teams behind them that are within 2 games.
Yeah.
You got Indiana, you got Detroit's coming up crazy. I forgot the other teams, but you know what? It's going to be close all the way down to the end.
Does Detroit still have Tayshaun Prince and Chauncey Billups?
No.
Oh, man.
We're not in the 90s anymore.
That's when they were good. In the West, the Warriors, Stephen Curry's still tearing up. But I still ask myself, do the Warriors have what it takes to win?
Hell yeah, they do.
But I'm saying, you look at the teams, and you look at this West, right? You look at the teams in the West. It's Golden State and Memphis, who's been to the finals, right? They lost to Miami in the finals. Houston. Or no, they lost to San Antonio in the conference finals.
Yeah.
But they did. Houston, Portland,
Dallas.
Damian Lillard is awesome for Portland. You got Dallas, who did the Rondo trade. It's good for Dirk Nowitzki.
Yeah, even though he's a punk-ass biatch, and he got in the face of his own coach.
Yeah.
Pulling Latrell Sprewell is going to choke his ass.
The Clippers got no Griffin, but they're still hanging on there with CP3. San Antonio and Oklahoma City. I'm sorry, but if I'm Golden State and Memphis, I don't want to play San Antonio or Oklahoma City.
Yeah, and guess what?
The 1 versus 8 and the 2 versus 7. You're playing teams that have been there before and got the talent to beat you.
Yeah, and Oklahoma City's without Kevin Durant right now, so they might fall out.
Westbrook is finally doing what he should be doing.
Sure, but if you're playing the Western Conference, you're playing all these teams, you might drop a few games. New Orleans Pelicans are only 2 games behind them with Anthony Davis, so...
The unibrow.
The unibrow, yeah, exactly. I mean, how can you argue with Anthony Davis? The kid came out, I hated him, but now I love him. He's great. You got to give him credit. He's a great player.
All right, so we'll talk about NCAA basketball. We got the tournament coming up. We could go through the top 25, but nobody wants to know about the top 25 because you probably already know about that stuff. There's 68 teams that go into the tournament. 68 teams.
It's ridiculous.
25 don't fill out your bracket. And most of the time, those teams, only 3 or 4 of them go in the same region, right? So we got bubble teams. I got a bunch of teams on the bubble teams. I'm going to run through them, and then I'm going to pick some from conferences that I think will make it. I will leave out the ones that don't. Okay, so here's a bunch of bubble teams. Write them down. Get ready. NC State, Texas A&M, Arkansas, West Virginia, Providence, Ohio State, Georgia. Okay, we've got Davidson with a big question mark, but they can do it. Illinois, Ole Miss, Oklahoma State, St. John's, Purdue, LSU, SMU, Southern Methodist University with Larry Brown as their coach.
Yes.
Temple, Tulsa, Texas, Sparty, Michigan State on the bubble, Oregon, Cincinnati, Dayton, Pittsburgh, Georgetown, Indiana, and Stanford. Those are bubble teams, right? There's more. There's a few more out there, but these are the ones that I wrote down because I want to make some selections. So Tony's got his teams. I'm gonna go through the team. You tell me if they're in or out.
All right,
I'll tell you if they're in. NC State
out.
I got them in. Okay, I got them in. That's one of the last 4 in.
Okay.
Texas A&M
out.
I agree with you that they're out, but they got a tough schedule run of games here in the SEC. They could get some quality wins. Their RPI number is really low right now. They need to bring that number up. Arkansas, they're
easily in.
Yeah, that's a lot. They just beat Texas A&M.
Yeah,
like handily.
Easily in.
West Virginia,
easily in.
I don't have West Virginia in.
Are you kidding me?
No.
You're losing your mind.
I don't have West Virginia in. I'm sorry.
We can make a bet on that one.
That's okay. They'll probably make the tournament. 68 teams make, but I don't think they
got victories over Kansas. They got come on.
Yeah.
Providence in, I think.
Providence in. Yeah, you got to get Providence.
We're in number 25 right now.
Yeah. Ohio State, I got them in because the Big Ten has kind of fell off this year, but they still got some quality teams.
They're beating each other up, though. You know what I mean? They're all quality. That's the reason their records don't show that.
Tony, I got Georgia going in.
Nah, I do not.
The Bulldogs going to make a run. We got to remember we got conference tournaments too.
All right, let's talk about 3 teams in a row here. Davidson, Illinois, Ole Miss. I have all 3 not in.
Ole Miss has won 5 straight games. They're the only ones that I'll tell you have the potential to make it in.
Okay.
They've won 5 straight. They just beat Mississippi State. They play somebody tonight.
Mississippi State's garbage.
But I mean, they got
wins. Yeah, no, I got you.
Wins. That when you win, doesn't matter what your other teams do, your RPI number might go up, right? That you need to get up in top 50 really to have a chance as a bubble team. Oklahoma State.
I got them out.
Tony's got them out. I got them in. They got wins over all those teams too. St. John's, you got to put them in. That's a good team.
Steve Lavin, man. UCLA's kicking themselves in the balls for letting go of him.
Tony has Purdue out and LSU out. I got LSU in. That's a good basketball team. They deserve to go in.
We'll see what happens.
Okay, SMU, you got them in. Temple, you got them in. Tulsa, you got in. You got Texas out.
Texas is out.
I'm going to have to agree with you because
they're losing games that
they should win.
Not that they should win. They're losing games that can push them into the tournament. Every time that they play a ranked team, they lose.
Yeah, that's why I got Oklahoma State in because they actually show up those games. Texas lost, or they play West Virginia tonight too. They lost a game just a few days ago. I think it was against K-State.
Yeah, they lost. Exactly.
They lost bad. Sparty, I don't have Sparty going in.
Yeah, you're losing your mind.
Spartans fan, but they don't deserve it. They're a young team. They make mistakes. They lose games they should win. Oregon, got Oregon going in. They beat a lot of quality teams. Cincinnati, Tony's got Cincinnati in.
Bob Huggins, man.
I don't like Cincinnati because of the coach.
Because he's healthy.
DUI drive.
Dayton, Pittsburgh, Georgetown.
I'm gonna have to put Dayton in, Tony. Dayton.
The only reason I see Dayton going in is if they win their conference tournament.
Okay. All right. I got Dayton going in. Tony doesn't have Dayton going in. I agree with Pittsburgh and Georgetown. Although Georgetown has a
Georgetown's pretty good.
They have a strong resume too. I think their RPI number is 44. So they're up there.
Indiana's in.
Put them in.
They've been in and out of the top 25 all season long.
Yeah. And then Stanford. Tony doesn't have Stanford in, but Stanford's got quality wins all across the board. They have 2 more games to play in their conference before the conference tournament starts. I think one of those games is against Oregon. The other game is against Arizona. They'll probably lose the one against Arizona. They have a chance against Oregon. All right. Tony doesn't want to talk about that, but it's happening, and there's a lot of people that follow us. The Cricket World Cup.
I'll turn off my mic for that.
The Cricket World Cup is in. Okay, so for those of you who don't know about cricket, you got wickets and batters and, yeah. Anyways, he's just mocking me now. New Zealand's undefeated so far. India's undefeated. And Ireland playing good cricket. And Australia's only played 1 game, but they look solid. England's already out of it. Sri Lanka is probably not going to make it, even though
Sri Lanka.
Yeah, people ask every year the Cricket World Cup. Is this Sri Lanka's year? It's not. They're not going through. So that's it for the Cricket World Cup. Let's go.
Thank the Lord. Top 5.
Ireland is undefeated in cricket.
Well, hide this from you. They are probably drunk.
Right.
Loosens the body up a little bit.
Top 5 is the top 5
underrated
teams in the tournament. So who do you got number 5, Tony?
The Arkansas Razorbacks.
Okay.
Ranked number 18 right now. They're 22-5. They actually have a better record than 6 teams above them that are sitting in the top 25. Arkansas's got quality wins over Florida. They got quality wins. Billy Donovan's team is always tough to play, whether they're ranked in the top 25 or not. I got Arkansas making noise.
I got Maryland at 22-5.
That's good.
Maryland just beat Wisconsin.
That's good.
First year in the Big Ten.
Yeah.
Tearing people up. They beat Indiana. They've beat a lot of the bubble teams. They beat Sparty. They beat Ohio State. They've won a lot of the games that people didn't think they were going to win, and they've done it well. Wells, their guard, you know me, I love guard play, playing really well right now. I think Maryland makes some noise in the tournament. My number 4 team, this is kind of a homer pick. I got the Kansas Jayhawks because it's the year.
How is it?
Because nobody's really.
How are they underrated?
Nobody's really talking about Kansas.
Okay,
Nobody's
all right.
really talking about
Perry Ellis, man. I agree, but I wouldn't put him as underrated.
I'm telling you, usually you hear about this time of year, you talk about Kansas, the powerhouse. You're not hearing any of that because the Big 12.
Duke, Virginia, just other conferences are better.
But you got Baylor, Iowa State, K-State. You got other teams in that conference that are making noise too. So you're not really talking about Kansas. I think that's a big mistake.
Northern Iowa was number 4 for me, 26-2, ranked number 10, better than 6 teams ahead of them. So ranked at number 10, they're still better than 6 teams ahead of them, and they have the best 3-point shooting team in all of the NCAA.
It was 103.
Whatever. Best 3-point shooting team in all of college basketball.
Yeah, at home.
At anywhere. Go.
All right, my number 3 team is Oregon.
It's all right. I like that one.
20-8. They got an RPI number of 43, so they're still sitting on the bubble, but they just beat Utah. The only knock I got against Oregon, and sometimes when you get to the bubble voting and stuff, and as an at-large bid, these little things hurt you. They're 2-5 against the top 50.
Yeah, it sucks. That's not good. That's not good at all. But I think they're going to be in. So when they get in, we'll see what happens when they do. My number 3 is SMU, Larry Brown. You can't argue with that.
Yeah.
22-5, better than 8 teams above them.
Yeah.
Sitting at 21.
It's that RPI thing, man.
It sucks.
They got to get rid of that.
It's stupid.
Stuff. Now they got this.
You might as well be the BCS.
I was just about to say that.
It's ridiculous.
But hey, they're going to go to a 128 team tournament soon, and then everyone.
Well, yeah, everybody and their mama.
The tournament will start like in November.
Yeah.
It'll end in May.
Yeah, it'll start in November with the University of New Jersey Institute of Technology.
Yeah, on the final, the first.
Who did beat Michigan this year?
Yeah, Michigan.
They suck. They garbage.
Yeah. Who do you got number 2?
Utah. Quality wins against Wichita State. They only lost to Kansas by 2.
Okay.
Basically, they're the best team in the Pac-12, easily.
They did lose to Oregon. They did lose to Arizona.
Excuse me?
No, but they're a good team. Utah's a good team. I'm not going to knock it. I'm just saying my number 3 pick beats your number 2 team.
Yeah, I don't know.
My number 2 team is Notre Dame. And the only reason I say this, look, they're a good team, but this is their first year in the ACC.
Just so you know, because I do write the college basketball too. Notre Dame has the highest field goal percentage in all of college basketball.
This is their first year.
Lights
in the
out
ACC.
shooting.
They were playing North Carolina, Duke. They beat both those teams. They lost both times to Virginia, I believe. Virginia's the number 2 team in the country.
Yeah.
But they play a tough schedule. Miami of Ohio, or not Miami. Miami of Florida.
If that was a tough game, then
they got.
We're in the wrong year.
Notre Dame you'd expect them to go from the Big East, or was the Big East as it was.
Yeah.
The Big East, not the same teams anymore. You think they'd go to the ACC, which is a tougher basketball division. You'd think you see a drop-off, and they're not. They're actually better than what they were.
Give me a number 1.
Colorado State out of the Mountain West.
I like it.
Underrated. 23-5. They got an RPI of 26. 26.
I don't even think they're ranked in the top 20.
They're not. How? Their RPI. No, they got quality wins against everybody. You name them in the country, they got a loss to Colorado State.
You're gonna hate this.
Who's your number 1?
Gonzaga. Only one loss, and it's against Arizona in overtime. Gonzaga Bulldogs, man. If they get the right schedule, they will make noise.
All right, they're not even making it out of the. They're not making the Sweet 16. It's been 2 years in a row.
Okay.
They're not making the Sweet 16.
Okay. I knew this was coming, so we're done with it.
They're not a good team. They're not a good team. They play in a weak conference.
I don't care.
They play St. Mary's.
I don't care.
They almost lost to Pepperdine.
Wichita State and VCU play weak conferences. Are they still good teams? Hell yeah, they are.
VCU is a good team.
They're both good teams.
Wichita State's all right.
Van Vliet.
Okay, listen. Gonzaga almost lost to Pepperdine.
I don't care.
The Waves, bro. The Waves.
I don't
Twice. The
care.
first time it was a lot tougher game. The second time it was tied at halftime.
I don't
and they
care.
ran away in the second half. I don't like that pick as number 1. You can't hate on my number 1 pick because Colorado State. Even though the crappy thing is the Mountain West. It has like San Diego State and nobody else because New Mexico's far.
Yeah, UNLV because
they blow. Wyoming was good at the beginning of the year and not so much now. Air Force is all right.
Okay.
But they lost TCU. TCU used to play in conference. They're gone. So the conference is whack.
One last thing before we get out of here. Packers released A.J. Hawk today.
Yeah, 9-year veteran.
Lions released Reggie Bush today.
Yeah.
Absolutely stupid moves on both accounts. Unless it's a salary cap thing. What are you going to do? I'm Tony Gaglione.
I'm Shawn Adams. Hey, I want to say something. Where's Reggie Bush going?
Chicago Bears. New York Jets. He's going to New York Jets.
Really?
Yep.
I'm going to say Tennessee Titans.
CJY2KFGHLY is gone, so...
Tony's playing with the balloons. I'm Shawn Adams. This is Smacktalk. Thanks for watching our 100th show, ladies and gentlemen. Be back next time for show number 101. We're going to start out completely different. Tony's going to be wearing a dress.
2 of them.